What's going on, friends? The secret to Harley-Davidson is that they're simply just not overcomplicated. In between different years, different engines, everything is pretty much the same, and for the most part, just about anything and everything on a Harley-Davidson is completely interchangeable as long as you're in the same family and generally within the same year range. You keep those two things in mind, you can do absolutely anything you want with a Harley-Davidson, especially considering that there's been a lot of models and even different model families that have been completely eliminated throughout the years. Harley-Davidson has a huge bin of parts to choose from when it comes to building their different models. But the one thing that you gotta remember about Harley-Davidson is pretty much anything on any Harley-Davidson, they are all built in a very modular fashion, meaning that Harley-Davidson can have a giant bin of parts to pick from to put on one singular frame and make changes here and there to basically create different models. Now, while that sounds really simple in theory, when it comes to Harley-Davidson, those different models sometimes absolutely have completely different ride and handling characteristics. But a lot of times, those subtle changes make a huge difference in what they actually deliver to you as a different model from X, Y, and Z. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, the thing is that Harley-Davidson eliminating models that we all love, like, I don't know about you, I like the old Lowrider, and now the only thing you can get is the Lowrider S. Now, of course, the Dyna Super Glide, the Dyna Switchback, there are a lot of models that did not make it into the Softail family. Now, as good as the Softail family is, it's still not the same. It's just not the old Dyna models. But let's say if you have a Dyna Wide Glide and you want to do something a little different with that motorcycle, you can go out, you can change the front end, you can change the rake on it, you can change the wheels. There's a lot of things you can do with that. You can essentially make yourself a Super Glide out of a Wide Glide if you wanted to, and vice versa. They are basically the exact same motorcycle. The differences that Harley-Davidson makes in the changes to these motorcycles is, one, wheel and tire size, and also they swap out the forks with different triple trees to get different rake lengths and just different overall looks. So if you have a model and you're getting a little bit bored with it, say if you want to try to change it up a little bit, you could play around with this if you're willing to invest a little bit of money and a little bit of your time to really go in and change your motorcycle up. You could turn a Super Glide into a Lowrider, a Super Glide into a Wide Glide, vice versa. They're pretty much generally all interchangeable with the right parts and the wheel and tire combination. If you think about it for a moment, there is really nothing super innovative about Harley-Davidson. All it is really they kind of just create custom motorcycles from the factory by choosing from a list of the parts that they have available to them. Now, if you're trying to build your own motorcycle, this can get a little bit tricky, especially if you're looking for forks and triple trees and wheels. Because where do you go when you're looking for parts and you're trying not to spend a shit ton of money on it by ordering it out of a catalog? Generally, you're buying a parts motorcycle or you're looking for good used parts. Now, the issue with that is a lot of the parts that you're going to need to make these kind of changes to your current Harley-Davidson is the fact that you're buying them used, or you might even be buying a crashed motorcycle. Now, what is the one thing that usually gets destroyed on a Harley-Davidson that's been crashed? You probably guessed it, it's usually the forks, the front end, the frame, the triple tree, everything you need that's going to get damaged because, as we all know, people love to pull out in front of us and run us over. That's just kind of a fact of life of riding a motorcycle. Now, your other option, you're still buying used parts, but you've got to go out on eBay, go to swap meets, things like that, which I would highly recommend if you could go and visually inspect the parts in person. That's usually the best way to do it, especially with forks. Now, I don't know about you guys, but anytime that I have ever bought a set of used forks trying to make some changes on a Harley, I have run into the fact that they say they're straight, or hell, I might even go look at them myself and I think they're straight, they look good to me, but the fact is that you never truly know until you get them on the bike. And personally myself, I have never been able to find a good straight set of used forks that weren't just slightly bent because they hit something. Now, as we all know, that could be maybe the seller lied to you, or they thought the same thing that you thought as well, that yeah, they're actually good, they're straight. But as I mentioned, the way you truly find out is when you get them on the bike and you actually try to ride it with that. But when it comes to a Harley-Davidson, if you're staying within that family, so if you've got a Dyna or you've got an older Softail, pretty much everything on these bikes is interchangeable between every single model. So you could swap fenders, you could swap tanks. There isn't an unlimited amount of things you can do if you're bored with your motorcycle. Especially if you got a chromed out bike, best way to do it, you can go find you a powder coater instead of buying the parts from Harley-Davidson. Of course, if you take it apart yourself and take everything down there and have them powder coated, it is a pain in the ass, but you're paying for the convenience if you order black powder coated parts out of the catalog. I don't even know if there's any chrome shops around anymore, so I don't even know if that's an option these days. But typically the trend has been all blacked out bikes, but I do think chrome is on the comeback, so that may be something you probably have to order out of the catalog, because as we all know, chrome is not really chrome like it used to be these days. Now, one of the other great things about Harley-Davidson is this modular model that Harley-Davidson builds on. This is not just relegated to the chassis themselves. The engines are absolutely built in the same mold as the chassis, with parts being interchangeable between multiple years. There are not any major overly huge differences in the twin cam engine, the Evolution engine, or even the Milwaukee 8 engines. As long as you're staying pretty much in the same family, being twin cam Evo or Milwaukee 8, a lot of those parts from different years will change over to whatever motor you have. This is how Harley-Davidson was able to keep one engine for so long, like with the twin cam, for example. Pretty much your 88s, the difference with the 88 was they did have smaller case bores, smaller cranks, but parts from just about any model year of 88s will swap over and vice versa. Now you get into the 96, the 103, they had the larger case bore, larger crank, so you could typically swap all of those parts back and forth between 96s and 103s. Now of course with the 110s, those were a little bit larger case bore than the 103s. So basically what it comes down to is going to be your case bore size. It's really the limiting factor with what you can do with the twin cam engine. But that's how Harley-Davidson was able to go from a 96 to a 103 and then come out with the 110 so easily without having to invest in a lot of money, just by making some subtle changes. Same thing's true with the Milwaukee 8s. We all know the 107s had the smaller cranks in them. Then they went to the 114, which had the bigger crank, larger bore, but the cylinders, the heads, all this stuff will swap back and forth between these engine families. So that's what makes it so easy to do so much with your Harley-Davidson, from the chassis down to the engine. It's all modular, and you can swap parts back and forth. That's why I love Harley-Davidson so much, in the fact that you could do so much with them, and everything is interchangeable across so many years. So you could do engine work, you can do chassis work, you can do whatever you want, and you don't have to go out and look for the same specific motorcycle. You can buy something else that's from the same family, whether it be a Dyna, Softail, Sportster, or Touring, and you can still do the same thing by swapping parts back and forth to update your bike or change the look however you see fit. But guys, I want your opinions. Let me know down in the comments, what bikes have you taken that were completely different Harley-Davidson models from the same family and did some part swapping back and forth and made something unique in your own garage that you did yourself? And let me know what people thought about it. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. I'll catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.